And welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, Rintaro and Faris unfortunately were chased throughout the streets of Akihabara thanks to the infamous Rhinetta gang known as the Viral Attackers, led by their rather obnoxious leader by the name of 4 Degrees, or Shido. After trying and failing to first reach Faris' apartment and then the future gadget lab, Faris and Rintaro decided to take refuge in the storehouse of the ramen shop, where in the previous world line this in fact was Queen May's, or May Queen Nyan Nyan, the maid cafe that was supposedly, or meant to be, started up and run and organized by none other than Faris herself. Upon entering this place, Faris somehow seems to have obtained memories of that previous world line, and rather dishearteningly for her, she has remembered the very contents of the D-mail that she sent, which altered that world line to this one. And that wish was to save her father who died 10 years ago. Indeed, that is quite a shock. That unfortunately puts us in a bit of a bad spot, because we're going to have to exchange those two pasts back, because if we don't, then Mayuri is still going to die, and also if we don't, if we do cancel Faris' D-mail, we'll be one step closer to getting the IBM 5100. Unfortunately, in order to achieve these two aims, we are essentially going to have to basically destroy Faris' dreams and hopes and wishes, much in the same vein as we erased the 4 days that we spent with Suzuha Mane, who is now no longer of this world. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. You mean that kind-looking man, her father, died 10 years ago? That's consistent with everything, now that I think about it. Faris really has remembered her D-mail. That's good and bad at the same time. Now that I know the result, all I have to do is send the cancellation D-mail. Unfortunately it's not that simple. I need to cancel the D-mail that prevented her father's death 10 years ago. So we have a choice. We either, or we can actually, well, not. If the thing is, if we don't prevent Faris' father's death, then Mayuri will die. And if we choose to save Mayuri, then Faris' father will have met his end. Isn't that the same as killing him again? Unfortunately, we don't have time to deal with the musings, because there is an intruder. I hear the door open and quickly cover Faris' mouth with my hand. I was really hoping it was Daru there for a second, but crumbs. Looks like somebody spotted us and ratted us out to the viral attackers. That is ungood. We need to do something. If they call their friends, we're basically done for. Now is not the time, Kurisu. And they heard the ringtone.
もしもし。
岡部、聞こえる？タクシーは呼んだけど、もうちょっとだけ時間がかかる。
Good news, we have a taxi. Bad news, will probably take a while. We don't have a while, Kurisu.
追っ手にバレた。目の前にいる。おい、出てこい。
Yeah.
隠れても
Talk
無駄
about
だ
a
ぞ。
rock and hard place.
それなら脱出方法をレクチャーする。場所はさっきのところから移動してないんだよな。
The men are approaching our hiding spot, but because the room is dark, it seems they can't tell where we are. That's our only saving grace, it would seem. I listen carefully to Kurisu's voice.
その部屋にある小麦粉をばらまいて脱出しろ。OK?
Scatter the flour and make a break for it. Well, I'm sure that will serve as a distraction. But if there are any more viral attackers waiting for us outside, we are basically doomed, unfortunately. Scatter the
あと
flour.
は照明をスイッチオン。
Then switch on the light. Now I get it.
了解した。オーバー。
Fare thee well, Kurisu. El Sai Kongru. Then I see the light reflect off of something. One of the men has a butterfly knife. He opens the blade with a flourish. I don't think hand-to-hand combat is going to help us in this situation. As Kurisu suggested, we do have other means at our disposal. I quickly rip open a nearby wheat flour sack and toss its contents into the air. The scattered white powder shines in the sunlight through the window.
うわ、なんだこれ。
Well, that's part one of our
なん
strategy.
も見えね
We could make our escape now, but we have to enact our second part of our strategy. Slipping past the disoriented men, I carry Faris towards the exit. Right next to the exit, I see the light switch. I push Faris out first, then flip the switch right before shutting the door. See if something happens. Right as we get out, some sort of sound like firecrackers resounds from the other side of the door. A dust explosion. I've seen the same trick used by guys like Madiver and Master Cheaton. There's the description of Master Cheaton, which I am not going to read. And for those of you who don't know what MacGyver is referencing, yeah, that should distract them long enough for us to escape. And fortunately there's no one out waiting for us outside. We better make a break for it as soon as we can. Faris coughs, shaking wheat flour off of her clothes and hair. But there's no time to spare. The taxi still hasn't arrived. But it's not like we can wait for it. Where there's one viral attacker, there's usually a bunch. We need to leave here now. No time to waste. However,
そうはいかねえぞ。
the viral attackers truly are persistent.
取り囲んじまえ。
Damn it. We were headed for the lab, but we got ambushed. Probably should have made a beeline back to Faris' apartment. I think we're out of lucky chances. Soon, Faris and I are surrounded by men with the fires of hatred burning in their eyes.
いや、もう逃げられないぜ。
The crowd parts down the middle, and 4 degrees steps forward wearing a hat.
一つ教えてやる。てめえら、 俺のヤバすぎる黒のオーラの前から逃れられねえ。
Indeed, you do have us cornered, good sir. I shield Faris with my body. 4 degrees cracks his knuckles and smiles.
俺はいつだって体制に逆らってきた。今回俺の伊達割るストーリーは完全勝利で終わるのさ。
Something tells me that your so-called fight against the system is somewhat two-faced.
よせ。この俺に手を出すな。
The only thing I can do is to stop faltering is to go into Hoin Kyoma mode.
このままだと俺の右腕が暴走を。
シーンの最前線に立つのは常に一人。その一人と黒い羽を羽ばたかせたクジャク。
I think it's time to clip your wings, good sir.
沈まれ。俺の右腕。ダメだ。封印が解かれてしまう。お前たち早く逃げろ。でないと本当に命を落とすぞ。
クレイジーな舞でてめえをエレガントに沈めてやるぜ。漆黒に選ばれるのはこの俺だ。
I don't think you can out-crazy Hoin Kyoma.
ダメだ。右手が右手が。やめてくれ。
ってこいつ一体何なんだ。
Yeah. Never underestimate the power of Hoin Kyoma. Something strikes the top of my head. One of the virals threw a can at me.
シード騙されんな。そいつは典型的な中二病なだけだ。
いやお前らが言うな。
構わねえから叩っちまおうぜ。
そこまで言うなら覚悟しろ。俺は右腕の封印を。
Before I can finish, 4 degrees kicks me in the solar plexus. He grabs the top of my head and knees me repeatedly. Finally he lets go of my hair. I start coughing as soon as I hit the ground. Probably should have fought back with that right arm there. Next, 4 degrees lays into me with heavy kicks to the head and body. I raise my arms to protect my face.
言ったろ俺に触れるなってな。冷たすぎる氷はやけどを。
And for the 3rd time we'll have to correct you.
だからそれはやけどではなく凍傷だ。バカが。
なっ
It's not my fault you don't know science. He starts stomping on me with his booted heels. A thug to the very end. All I can feel is pain. I abandon all thought and wait for the storm to pass. Compared to the pain of trying and failing to save Mayuri Shina from certain death countless times, this pain is nothing.
うるせえ。指図するなよ。俺に指図できるのはガイアのささやきだけだぜ。
So, in other words, you're a crazy person. 4 degrees grabs my thumb in both hands, then he starts to twist. And for some reason, nobody is bothering to help. Unfortunately, a lifeline. That sounds like a car. Hopefully that's our taxi. I hear a sound. A car's exhaust. The honking of a horn. A limousine barrels into the alleyway at terrific speed. Everyone screams and scatters to avoid it. The smell of burnt rubber. Tire tracks on the asphalt. The limousine stops right in front of my fallen body. The back door opens.
乗りなさい。
And it's Faris's father. Looks like Steins is smiling down on us, 4 degrees. Just not your day. Although we unfortunately have a serious case of being physically assaulted, and I can't even stand up. There's no strength in my body left. My vision's blurry too. Slender arms wrap around my body, pulling me towards the car. The soft scent of citrus tickles my nose. That would be Faris's perfume. I'm amazed we're still conscious. I let her help me into the limousine.
くそ
待て
I think we are. We are the ones with the limousine. The door shuts, cutting off his shouting. And away we go. Off to the sanctuary that is Faris's apartment. The car speeds off like a bullet. I believe we are forever in your debt, sir. Unfortunately, we will never be able to repay that debt. There's a softness under my head. We're inside the limousine. My head is resting on Faris's lap. Every inch of my body feels like it's on fire. And unfortunately, Hoin Kiyoma doesn't have say in biology, because if he recovered from these injuries, his power level would increase dramatically. Isn't it a shame when certain mechanics don't work in real life? And at the same time, there's a terrible cold in my bones. I can barely hear. My ears are ringing. The urge to vomit has receded at least, given the fact that 4 degrees was basically curb stomping our head in the process. They really messed me up. According to Faris's dad, he was racing the UPX to congratulate Faris when he saw us. Oh, a fortunate coincidence indeed. Better late than never, I suppose. Is this also the choice of Steins Gate?
君にはお礼を言わねばならないね、岡部君。娘を守ってくれてありがとう。
As I was saying, we are the ones in your debt, and unfortunately, so I can't speak right now. I'm no hero. If I had the strength, I would prostrate myself now right before this man. This man whose life we now have to end, unfortunately. Yeah, the demon arm strategy wasn't the best choice.
とんでもない。君は娘の命の恩人だよ。
We did protect Faris, fortunately, I suppose. He shakes my hand firmly in gratitude.
パパったら大事なお仕事があるんだから無理しなくていいって言ったのににゃ。
Faris looks happy as she says that. However, I recall what Faris told me in the ramen shop about her wish.
フェイリスが叶えたのは10年前に死んだパパを生き返らせることにゃ。
And now we have to break that wish to save another. If that's true, then to return to the original world line, I have to erase her father, to kill him essentially.
私はルミホとの約束は何があっても守るよ。昔そう決めたんだからね。
パパ、ありがとにゃ。
Indeed. Thank you very much, good sir. The limousine soon reaches Faris's home. Safety and sanctuary at last.
ほう、IBN5100 か。
Indeed, and I believe you were the one who donated that very computer to Yanabayashi's shrine.
そうです。あなたは熱心なレトロ PC 収集家とかねてより聞いていました。何かご存知ではありませんか？
Sorry, I skipped the dialogue there. I ended up eating dinner at Faris's apartment. Faris's father was extremely grateful to me and invited me up. I would have been okay with just borrowing the shower, but he even prepared a change of clothes for me, and he even told me I could stay since it's still too dangerous to go outside. During the meal, I try asking about the IBN 5100, ignoring the pain I still feel throughout my body.
君のような若者が IBN5100 を知っているとは珍しいね。
You don't know the half of it. He smiles when I bring up his hobby of collecting old PCs.
確かに私も持っていたよ。今は手放してしまったが。
We are already familiar with this fact,
手放した。
but it's a real shame that he doesn't have it anymore.
ああ、やむにやまれぬ事情でね。
Apparently had a reason for giving the IBN 5100 away. He glances at his daughter. Faris keeps eating her meal silently.
柳林神社に奉納したのですか？
Bit of a loaded question given the fact that we're kind of showing our hand here, but doesn't hurt to ask.
いや、違うよ。
Apparently not. All the strength drains from my body. Were my efforts for nothing?
私に IBN5100 を託してくれた橋田さんには申し訳ないことをしてしまったと思っている。
Wait. Hashida-san? As in Daru Hashida? As in Itaru Hashida?
橋田って橋田鈴ですか？
Or Suzu Hashida? As in Suzuha Amane? Interesting that, well, I know that she would have, since she jumped back in time to 1975, she lived for about 25 years. But it's curious that she would actually know and meet Faris's father of all people. Faris's father nods. Suzuha's pseudonym. My pulse rises instantly upon hearing that name. She did it. She found an IBN 5100. She brought it to Akiba. She completed her mission. Tears well up in my eyes. I bite them back.
昔の話になるがね。まだ私の会社が今ほど大きくない頃の話だ。
I think we've got plenty of time to listen, considering how injured we are.
ルミホが誘拐されたんだ。犯人はとんでもない額の身代金を要求してきてね。
Indeed, I seem to recall that Faris mentioned something about being kidnapped, and that was when the moment where she remembered everything from the previous world line.
あるいは会社を抵当に入れればなんとかなったかもしれない。そんな時、渡りに船とばかりに IBN5100 を高額で買い取りたいという人物が現れてね。
And that person just happened to be Suzuha Amane, or Suzu Hashida, who just so happened to have the ransom money needed for Faris's father to secure his
それ
daughter's
を売り渡す
release.
ことでルミホを助けるための身代金を用意することができたんだよ。
Which was extremely generous of her.
その話はやめるにゃ。
And Faris doesn't want to talk about it. For some reason, Faris's face turns red with embarrassment. If I had to say, her dad seems really happy to tell the story. Not something you'd expect from a kidnapping story.
その歌相手というのは
I think we already know the answer to that question.
フランスの実業家だね。今でも連絡は取れると思う。なんだったら教えようか。
Wait a minute. A French businessman. I politely declined the offer. There's no way the IBN 5100 will arrive from France in time, and I doubt we could afford to pay for it anyway. Plus, there's a high possibility that the buyer is related to CERN or the Rounders. Indeed, CERN would necessarily have the money to certainly buy a ransom out, and given the fact that they're, well, CERN is actually, connected in France, or based in France, or something to that degree, or yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I clench my fist and then open it again. Why won't you return to me, IBN 5100? It is very unfortunate. The only thing we can do is try and restore the world line to the way it was. It's well past midnight and I'm still awake. My body hurts too much to sleep, and then there's the question eating at my mind. What should I do? How can I cancel the demail that saved Faris's father? My encounter with the man himself has given birth to an unnecessary internal conflict. I'm about to steal Faris's father away from her. I need to do it to save Mayuri. But does that give me the right to play God? Given the fact of what we've done so far, I think that question is moot at this point. I hear a knock and then the door opens. And apparently it's Faris.
まだ寝てなかったのか。
入っていい？
Very well then. Normally Faris would have added nya to the end of that question, but this is the first time that she didn't. Without waiting for my answer, Faris steps inside. Then she sits next to me on the bed. She's not wearing her cat ears. Daru would be heartbroken at this. But that means the person we are dealing with is not Faris Nyan Nyan, but Rumiho Akiha, prodigal daughter of Akihabara. And she's thanking us for our less than heroic efforts to keep her safe.
私すごく怖かった。
Indeed, it was somewhat of a terrifying situation. Did she have a fever or something? Why is she talking normally? I think this situation has affected her more than she possibly knows. She usually pretends to be a cat girl. Does this mean that she's not using her Faris persona right now? And unfortunately, I think she is probably wrestling with the same internal conflict that we are. Does she choose to remain with her father? Or does she choose to let him go in order that her best friend and fellow maid, cat maid and cosplayer Mayuri Shina lives? Is this the real Rumiho Akiha? It's actually refreshing to hear Faris talk normally like this. I bet Daru would probably be screaming his head off and hiding in a corner. It excites me for some reason. like she's showing me a side of herself that no one has ever seen, and most others never will.
大勢の人たちからあんな黒い感情をぶつけられたこと。
The viral attackers were just the worst sort of thugs.
黒にや
Pay
たら
them
こだ
no
わる
mind.
連中だったからな。
Indeed. She slaps me on the knee lightly.
もう真面目に話してるのに。
Even her retort is normal. That's a surprise. The person sitting in front of me isn't a cat-haired maid, and she isn't a Rhinet champion. She's just a normal girl.
傷痛む？
Yeah, I think I can still feel the
いや
bruises.
大丈夫だ。
今日の岡部さんがいなかったらどうなっていたか想像するだけでゾッとする。
And for the first time, Faris refers to Rintaro by his name, which is surprising enough.
言い直すな。いつも通りの呼び方でいい。
Faris sighs.
とにかく京馬には感謝してもしきれない。本当にありがとう。
Indeed. If we weren't there to protect her, then the viral attackers would definitely have, yeah. Best not to dwell on that.
京馬はね、
We've saved her, that's all that
私
matters.
の王子様だよ。
Daru would be heartbroken to hear those words. Prince, what's with the fairy tale talk? He's giving me goosebumps. We're Hoin Kyoma, the insane mad scientist. Yeah, this calls, obviously this calls for Hoin Kyoma.
俺は王子様ではない。狂気のマッドサイエンティストで。
Before I finish, Faris throws herself on top of me. Looks like she's not buying it. She wraps her arms around me tightly.
フェイリス。
I think at this point, Daru wouldn't even come near us with a 50 meter or 50 mile length pole at this
ルミ
point.
ホって呼んでほしいな。
いや、フェイリスはフェイリスだろ。
Not this time, Rintaro. Not this time. This is bad. What should I do? What does Faris want?
ね
So many
え、
questions.
終わりにしようと思うの。
To end this.
京馬はどうせ過去に戻ればまたやり直せるのに、私を命がけで助けてくれた。
Indeed. That is true.
京馬の望むことを私も叶えてあげたいって思う。
But to do that, Rumiho, will mean the death of your own wish.
だが。
And we all know that. I swallow the rest of my words. Granting my wish would mean erasing her father's existence. My heart aches. It was like this with Suzuha too. I erased everything that Suzuha had shared with us in 2010, including her memories of meeting her father, Daru. I did it for the sake of my personal goal, to save Mayuri. Must I once again sacrifice someone else's dream? Unfortunately, we don't have a choice. Or we do have a choice, and we don't. Still clinging to me, Faris looks down and begins her story. Is this about the
私はパパ
kidnapping?
にその日だけはお仕事をお休みして一緒に遊びに行こうってお願いしてたんだ。
That's entirely normal for
当
a
時はま
doting
だ
daughter.
パパの会社は大きくなくて、パパは毎日 朝から晩までずっと働き続けてたから、私はちっともパパに会えなかったの。
And thus Faris was a very, very sad cat girl.
パパと過ごせる一日が私が一番欲しかったプレゼントだった。パパは約束してくれたよ。その日は何があってもきっと一緒に過ごそうって。
Unfortunately, Faris's father is dedicated to his work, not in a insincere way or a sinister way, but that's unfortunately the real world, as it seems.
でもやっぱり急な仕事の予定が入って前日になって約束は破られちゃったの。
That's very unfortunate, though not unexpected.
ひょっとしてパパは私のこと愛してくれてないんじゃないかってすごく不安になっちゃって。
I don't think you have to fear that anymore, Faris,
だからね、
given the fact that he
私
came to save us.
誕生日当日に家出したの。パパに心配してもらいたくて。
Well, if you wanted to make him worry, I believe you would have succeeded wholeheartedly. Faris pauses here for a time. Then she looks up at me and continues with tears in her eyes.
その日、パパの乗った飛行機が着陸に失敗したんだ。
So in other words, Faris's father perished in a plane crash.
死者は一人だけで、他の乗客はみんな無事だったんだけどね。
And somehow he was the only one who died in the accident.
その一人がパパだった。
And Faris feels guilty because she ran away. It is a truly tragic tale. That was before the world line
信
changed.
じられなかった。こんなにも世界は私に冷たい運命を押し付けるのかって。
Unfortunately, we can entirely believe it, considering what we've been going through in
パ
this
パなん
world
かも
line.
う知らない。死んじゃえばいいんだって。それがパパにかけた最後の言葉になっちゃった。
No wonder you wanted him back.
そんな言葉で私とパパの関係は永遠に閉ざされちゃったんだ。
And if we are to keep Mayuri alive and get one step closer to our goal, we have to sever that relationship again. I can hear the tears in her voice.
大好きだったのにどうして最後にあんなこと言っちゃったのかなってずっと心の中にパパへの罪悪感があって。
I believe in your defense you had every right to be upset with him. But, yeah, that's just how the adult world works.
思ってた。タイムマシンがあればいいのにって。
And fortuitously enough, Steins smiled on you in the form of the Phonewave TBA, courtesy of Hoin Kiyoma and Daru Hashida. Then did fate guide us to each other?
だからね、京馬がタイムマシンの話をしているときに、これは神様か仏様か運命様が私に与えてくれたチャンスなんだって思ったの。
フェイリス、ルミホ、今日はもう話さなくていい。
I think we've heard everything we need to hear and learned everything we needed to.
最後まで言わせて。
Faris doesn't let go of me. She sniffles and wipes away her tears, putting on a smile.
私はもう満足したから。さっきパパが助けに来てくれて、私のこととっても大切に思ってくれてるって分かったから。
And for Rumiho, her greatest wish was indeed granted.
このちょっとだけのご褒美はもう十分楽しいんだから。
Even if it was only for a limited time, it apparently was enough.
だから変えた過去は元に戻さなきゃ。
But as they say, all good things must come to an end.
だが
今日マユシーはね、私にとっても友達なんだよ。そのマユシーに危機が迫ってるなら、私も京馬と同じようにするね。
Even if it means giving up the time that you spent with your father.
すまない。
言ったでしょ、今のこの現実は現実じゃなくてご褒美なの。
And Faris is still trying to convince herself, but
それとも夢って言うべきかな。もともとパパはこの時代にはいなかった。元に戻すだけ。
I suppose dream isn't the most inaccurate word I would choose, I suppose. And unfortunately,
夢を見させてくれ
Faris needs to wake up,
ありがとう。
unfortunately.
京馬。
本当に
But at least we gave her the time that she needed.
それでいいんだな。
Faris buries her face into my chest.
本当はちっとも良くないよ。
Indeed, she probably wishes that she could keep both Mayuri and her father. Unfortunately, this world line is not kind at all.
私、世界が変わる前のこと思い出したけど、でも
Indeed, the memories from the previous world line.
世界が変わった後のことも全部覚えてるんだよ。
So she's struggling with memories from two different world lines, which can be disorienting for anyone.
今すごくパニック中なの。変わる前と変わる後とがごちゃ混ぜになって、どっちが本当なのかわからなくなっちゃいそうで。
I think it is certain to say that both of those are real.
でもこれ以上わがまま言ったら京馬が悲しむでしょ。
I don't think anything can stop that.
京馬が悲しむ顔は見たくないから。だって私の王子様だもん。
I think Daru would stop speaking to us completely should he overhear these words.
だがもしかすればお前もパパさんを失わずマユリも死なない、そういう世界があるかもしれないんだ。それを探す努力をもっと。
Unfortunately, it's not going to be that simple.
いいの、もういいの。
And apparently, Rumiho has finally come to terms with her father's fate.
私はもう逃げたくないから。
There's nothing I can say to that. So instead, I tightly embrace her slender body. It's about all we can do in this situation.
ねえ、ちょっとだけ泣いていいかな。過去を元に戻す前にパパのために泣いてもいいかな。
You can cry as long as you like, Rumiho. She's already crying, but I don't say anything. Instead, I silently nod. Faris's body trembles with emotion as I hold her. Her father is sleeping in the room next door, so she probably doesn't want him to hear. She cries into my chest, muffling her sobs. It's almost noon, another day. And with that, I believe this is a good time to end the episode. So when we return, adventurers, we shall steel ourselves and try and get in touch with Daru and Kurisu at the Future Gadget Lab so we can access the PhoneWave TBA remotely and have Faris send a countered email of her own, which should shift us back to a previous world line. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.